Namaste. Welcome to the Full Moon Karma Yoga Center Astrology Report. We're out in the middle of Littleton, Colorado right now. There's a park that has a lake, and there's a little bit of drizzle, and it's kind of indicative of the energy that's happening right now. Like a lot of sun, a lot of drizzle, a lot of sun, a lot of haze from the smoke, and then as above, so below. So it's kind of the polarities we're feeling right now at this time at the full moon. On Sunday, August 26th, the moon will be in Pisces and it will be opposite of the sun that is in Virgo starting tomorrow. And these two forces are facing off to each other in these polarity places. Virgo likes refinement, likes things to be definitive, likes clarity, purity, routine. It's very health oriented as a sign. And so they like to have things polished and up to snuff, so to speak. And the sun's energy is in that particular sign right now. And the sun represents the radiance, the power, our willpower, our stamina, how we show up in the world. So our energy is pulling into Virgo, and we want to look at things that we need to refine. We want to look at things that need a little more definition in our life, where we need to purify and clarify things in our life. And then our moon side is in Pisces, and Pisces is a watery sign, and it has boundless energy, and it's in the 12th house, which is the final house in the zodiac. That's kind of that ending place before we start a beginning new in Aries. And that final 12th house is the spiritual element. It's where we connect in with our highest power, highest way. So the moon is landing there in this very dreamy, spiritual, intuitive, mystical place. And the sun's over here in kind of rules and regulations and the way it's best contained. So there's a lot of polarity, much like this weather right now. And I think for many of us, that pulls on us. Like, how can we be the sun with this refinement, and how can we be the moon with the intuition? But this is all in a very harmonious play. So I'm going to give you some aspects besides the full moon in Pisces and the sun in Virgo. There's this grand triangle. And it's an earth trine, so very grounding energy. And you have Uranus in Taurus, and you have the sun in Leo, and then you have Saturn in Capricorn. So, the sun in Virgo. These are all our three earth signs. We have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, holding down our earth elements. And then we have Uranus, which is the radical, the revolutionary. It's crazy Uncle Uranus that can throw down that lightning bolt anytime at us and give us a big woohoo. And then the sun, as I said, is that radiance, that power, how we present, how we hold our will. And then with Saturn up there in Capricorn, that's kind of the law, the karma, the rule, the way things should play out. And they're all in a triangle. And triangles like that are trines, and the very harmonious energy for the most part if you're working with the energy in that way. So you can take this time and use it to take that what could seem like polarity and move it into complementary. The opposite ends of the wheel, kind of like on a color wheel, those can be very congruent. They make for a nice contrast in a picture. If you take the opposite sides of the color wheel and move them in together, they make each other pop. So this is a good time to tune into that and let that kind of intuitive, mystical, spiritual energy of the full moon in Pisces be uplifted and held high by the refining, discerning element of the sun in Virgo. So all the dreamy, imaginative pieces that we're holding right now, our creativity, where can we refine it? How can we take that song that's kind of playing in our heart a little bit and really get the notes down and really get it to play the music that we want that's in our heart? That's where I mean that this could be a beautiful trine and very harmonious energy at this time. But as I also mentioned, they're in opposition to each other, so there can be the polarity. And the polarities can make us move away from it. So we just hang out in Dreamville and we're just imagining everything and we're not really doing anything about it to refine it or define it or get our ducks in a row so that we can get that off to press. Or we could be clear over on the sun side and we're just getting everything check marked off, but nothing is really coming to a fruition. It just, the list is done, very OCD or kind of controlling on a lot of things, but not any creativity blossoming or flourishing out of this. So there's a lot of possibility for it seeming like a little bipolar at this time. We might be feeling some of those polarities. So my recommendation is to tune into the trine, to tune into Uncle Uranus and help direct that energy to revolutionize or catalyze some inspiration in your life, and use the Saturn law and rule and right way to keep it in a flow that works for your highest good. And then you have the sun radiating on both ends of that in that triangle, saying illumination to this. Here's how it can be brighter. Here's the big picture. Here's how it rolls. That's one of the aspects, is the trine, the grand earth trine. Another aspect that we have looking, that kind of sits at the apex side of the triangle, it makes it look like a kite shape, is the moon is in a sextile to Uranus and Saturn. Sextiles are also harmonious, and I'm going to try not to use too much language that we don't understand in regular everyday talk. But it just means that there's a nice energy working from the moon to Uranus and the moon to Saturn. And the moon is our inner child, it's our intuition. So we could also have like things soaring high, the kite flying high, taking off when you go running and you hope the wind catches it and it goes up into the air. We could get that lift off at this time with the trine and that sextile with the moon. Another aspect that's going on that's also very harmonious is a trine. Again, that's that harmonious word that's going from Neptune, the watery planet, and it's trining to Jupiter, the big guru or expansive energy. And Neptune is in Pisces, which is where the moon is, and it's that watery element. And Jupiter is in Scorpio, which is also a water sign, also a very emotional element, where Pisces water is more intuitive, mystical, magical imagination, and Scorpio is more merging, sensual, sexual, money related, death of something, the purging of something, the getting rid of something. And then you have Neptune, which is sky's the limit, or in his case, the ocean's the limit. And Jupiter is expansion. So you have lots of room to grow in your emotions, in your getting the imagination and taking it to the outer limits, and then taking what is delusional, which can also fall into these two worlds, and sieving it through the colander and letting the parts that are muddy and icky go through the holes and capturing that gold flake that comes through, and saving that gold to create the beautiful magical dreams that we've been holding in our hearts, and letting some of that unnecessary energy flow on through. So the astrology right now, in my opinion, if you're working with the energies, is very harmonious. The trines between the triangle aspects of Uranus, Saturn, and the sun, and between Neptune and Jupiter, that looks really great. That's all working in our favor of expanding our dreams and making things happen. And on the flip side of it, we also have the energies of the polarities that could cause some problems for us, but hopefully we're in tune and we're working to avoid that opposition to not work in our favor. There's a couple of things that aren't as harmonious, and I wouldn't say that they are unharmonious, but they can be challenging to us. We have finally gone direct on Mercury, and so it's cruising back towards Virgo. It's in Leo now, and on Monday I believe it'll be an exact square to Jupiter. And Jupiter is that expansive energy, and Mercury is your communication. So the squaring of it could create some challenge in the communication piece between you and that good guru energy. And it could also mean that you say things that get expansive and maybe challenge somebody else. So mindful of that particular square that's coming up on, I believe, Monday. And then another one that we have is Venus is in Libra, where she is home. That's one of her home bases. And when she arrives there, she feels very at rest and at peace in her whole self. And Libra is the sign of relationship, and Venus is loving abundance. So that's a really positive aspect. But she's going to square against Pluto, which is our deep soul self. So if we haven't reconciled some of the relationship issues, loving issues, romance issues, on a soulful level, if we're placating a relationship or feeding it a false energy, this could come to a head coming up here too. And I'm not exactly remembering the square date for that, but it's in this next week as well. So just have that in mind, that if there's anything you need to clean up in relationship on an honest, truthful level, it's best time to get it done now, and maybe use that energy of Mercury to Jupiter to help clean that up. Instead of it blowing up out of control, exploding, you could use your communication to be expansive and connective and clear some energies up that maybe have been less than truthful or in harmony with what's in your heart. All in all, the time right now is harmonious, beautiful, and fruitful. And the overarching piece, much like the rainbow that has been behind me, is radiance. And to tune into that bridge of possibility between your imagination and the refinement and discernment that can get it to the just right piece of art that you've been wanting to express for yourself, whether it's truly an art form or it's just a creative idea that's been holding inside around relationship or money or freedom or soul potential. It doesn't always have to look like a Picasso or a Martha Graham choreograph. So best of luck at this full moon time, and I'd also like to give a shout to my husband whose birthday is on the full moon. Happy birthday to Michael, and anyone else who's coming into this Virgo time, may your birthday month be full of beauty, joy, and rainbows. Namaste and so much love. We are offering a special astrology package starting this month. If you sign up, clicking on the link below, you will receive a monthly video that gives you an astrology download of some sort, whether it's on the planets or the current astrology or aspects that are happening at the time. We also have a unlimited yoga membership that you could click on the link below as well and sign up for membership. And then there's a combination of both monthly unlimited yoga and a monthly astrology video that would come into your inbox every month. If interested, see the links, click and read more. Have a beautiful day.